people, they forget that there are different aspects of God. Because there's God who's like the friend, there's God the Father, you know, the one who like, speak, pamper you, cover you, all that stuff. Then there's God the judge. The judge who will read between black and white. Like with him it's black and white. Like, hey, this, according to the law, or according to my instruction, is wrong. Right? So we tend to mix it up and think that, hey, God is God is our friend. One aspect of friendship is you can get to have conversation and negotiate, but there's no negotiating with a judge, because the judge is there to interpret the law and like give a verdict, right? And that's the aspect that people do not know, that there's a judge and he's righteous. He's a righteous judge, right? So when you mix those two, that's where you start to lose the fear, because you think every time you're going to deal with God the friend and forget that this is a king. This is the King of Kings, right? He has every attribute that shows. For example, I'll give an example. I was watching The Crown. Before, I would just see, it helped me just get a glimpse of, because these are normal people. Like, they're normal people. Like Queen Elizabeth, the late Queen Elizabeth, was a normal person, a normal lady with her own aspirations. She had her weaknesses and all these things. But once she put on that crown, she was a whole different person, right? She was in a different office. Even her children had to first of all go through the queue. They had to go through protocol. Like, you don't just approach her.
Yeah, because she's the queen.
Yeah, because she's the queen. She has that office. Same thing with God. We forget that he is God. This is the guy who has legions of angels sitting around him, just waiting. There are angels that are worshipping him. There are elders who are seated around his throne. Like, there is all this glory around him. And we forget that aspect and think he's just the lamb. Yet he is the lion. He is also the lion. Right? So as a generation, I think, of course, it comes with how maybe the gospel has been marketed. Like, Jesus has been marketed to people. Oh, Jesus is, a cool guy, JC, cool, Yeah, that's one aspect that can bring you to Christ for evangelism. But you do not stay at that level. You grow. It's like when you join an institution, when you join school, the first meal they give you is going to be the best to make you feel comfortable. They make you feel, Next morning, wake up for preps. It's time for you to go read. If you miss it, suspension. If you miss it, they might punish you. Like, this is now not a joke, right? And you have to get used to that. So people forget that you're dealing with someone that is infinite. This is the guy that created the whole universe. He is outside time. He is outside time. He does not operate the way we do. Our wisdom is foolishness to him. So for you to think that your emotions, your fears, your doubts have a place when he gives an instruction, it's something that you can wave up and say, hey, I am this, I can't do it because of this. Yeah, you don't know what's coming to you, right?
I think down the line, eventually I don't know why people want to find out.
Curious.
I have no desire to find out how angry God can get.
Yeah.
Or for him to bring me, I have zero desire. I don't want to. I'm going to do whatever he asks me to do. I'll go wherever he asks me to go. I won't complain. I'll fight for it. I'm not going to do any of that.
Yeah.
I don't know why some people do. There's nothing in it for me where I'm like, yeah, let me see if God is going to. No, I don't want to. The Bible says, do not test the Lord your God.
Yeah.
Don't challenge him. A perfect example of that would be currently right now. Hamas played a stupid game.
Yeah.
This is and I say this honestly because people need to understand this. You were playing a game, and they're like, okay, now you're going to understand. People don't grasp that concept. Hamas is like, got a stick. That's the lion? Okay.
Yeah.
See what happens. Let's cut it a little bit. Let's kill its children. Bro, history is a perfect reminder of what men have done to people for less. That always remains in my head. I'm a huge history nerd and a student. History shows us that people have decimated continents for less. Destroyed countries just for being insulted. Civilizations have gone to war because of one woman.
Yeah.
You decide in our lifetime, since we've been born, there's a country that went to war like for just killing people one random morning. Flew planes into a building. They went to war.
Yeah.
And people didn't understand like the gravity of this situation. And everybody is now talking about, well, human rights and restraint. I'm like, they played a dangerous game.
Yeah.
That what the world should have done was stop them when they were firing rockets. It should have been like, guys, you need to chill. Stop it. Don't do it. Stop firing rockets. Cut it off. Because this is the thing, and I always say this. Do research, then form your own opinion. All the leadership of Hamas, the main leadership, is not there. They flew their families out of Palestine. They've been living in abroad. One of them has been staying at the Four Seasons in Qatar. Like, their kids are not there. Their children are not there. Their sons are not there. Their aunts and uncles are not there. You opened the door. And this is what, and I always say this to people. I understand this generation. I was bullied. And the thing, and yeah, people have their opinions about bullying and how it's bad or whatever, but bullying helped me understand something. You don't just go around picking on people. First of all, it taught me, hey man, the world's not nice. People punch you in the face. It's the first thing, right? People won't even have a reason not to like you. They'll just do some stuff. Gave me some perspective. 2, besides seeing me bullied, I saw other people being bullied. Like, people didn't realize who they were picking on. And then they got a reality check. And the bully, oh my God, he began running around. Oh my God, these people are so bad. They do. Are you crazy?
Playing victim.
You can't all of a sudden now you're a victim. You didn't start that way. You didn't start that way. And I think people are now seeing it. And the problem is now, the generation that we live in is highly, I'm not going to say they're sophisticated. And I'm not going to say they're intelligent. I am going to say that they're easily influenced.
Yeah, that's right.
They're a generation that's easily okay, so this is what we're supporting. This is the in thing. This is what we're going to support. This is a stupid idea. It's stupid. Form your own intellect. Figure things out for yourself. Because you could be, and again, I always say this. Violence is not for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
Violence is not for the faint of heart. It's not for the faint of heart. It's not even slightly.
Yeah.
And as a person who has experienced it, and I don't play games, I don't lie to people, and at some point delivered it, it's not a thing that is faint. You have to have a realization in your mind that if you're going to do something, there'll be consequences.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be consequences. And the good thing is when I was going to school, when Cristiano was sick and we were in London, I remember they were at school, Chris and Cristiano were at school, and this guy pushed Cristiano. Same guy who pick up his founder. It was we were doing like an after school play type thing, and Cristiano was outside. So this person pushed her, and Cristiano fell, and she was bleeding here.
Wow.
Honest truth, I didn't care what was said, what happened. I saw my sister bleeding just here. Yeah. I found him. The teachers pulled me off this guy. And back then, fighting was like, it's socially acceptable. Like, it wasn't like a big deal.
Yeah.
Like it is now. Like back then, it was slightly socially acceptable. People weren't getting too upset about it. And they were like, oh, why'd you do this? He did that to my sister. Mm-hmm. There was no, the best thing to do is, no. You can have your punishment. But when he goes home, he'll remember, I shouldn't be pushing people's sisters around. I should be pushing anybody around.
Yeah.
He had no clue. And back then, I wasn't big. I was small. I was tiny. He was way bigger than me. But at that point, it didn't matter. I'm like, you've made the gravest mistake of your life. And I made sure every single day I reminded him of it. That's not a thing. Cristiano had to go to the hospital. She wasn't in school for a whole week. And Cristiano was battling cancer too.
What?
When that happened. So she wasn't at the tail end of it. So what people don't understand nowadays, you can have a great understanding of how the world should work. Yes, in theory. Mm-hmm. Practically, the world doesn't move like that.
Yeah.
I have a respect for people genuinely, just out of the simple fact that I don't know what you're capable of. Mm-hmm. I don't know what you're capable of. People who are quote unquote bullies on like social media or whatever, I don't have a respect for just due to the fact that you most likely will never say that to my face. Mm-hmm. 2, you're most likely the person who calls for mercy when the heat turns up.
Yeah. Forgive.
Like, no, that's not how it should be. Like, forgive.
You're a Christian.
No, you're a Christian. Like, we need to stop. Yeah, I'm a Christian, but dude, you chose this. Yeah. What people don't understand, if somebody asks for a fight, bro, you asked for, when it's not going your way, you can't change it. That's not how the world works.
Yeah.
And nowadays, people don't throw punches. Nowadays, people just take you to court. Mm-hmm. People don't understand how court works. If I sue you for something you've said or attempted to do, I have a record of it.
Yeah.
You want to know why CNN settled with Donald Trump for like a crazy amount of money? It was like nuts. It was like over $400 million.
What?
Because their anchors run their mouth on television.
Yeah, even get emotional.
So they were like, oh, Trump sues them. And then they talk about the lawsuit. This is how stupid it is. They talk about the lawsuit. What people don't know when they're getting sued, which now I'm going to tell you. If you're getting sued, shut up.
Yeah.
Don't talk about the person. Mm-hmm. Because everything you say about them is added to the lawsuit. That's what people don't understand. Like, people wonder, like, man, why is suing someone taking so long? Because the person suing them is just going to keep quiet and let them talk.
Yeah.
If I've decided to sue you, from last year up to now, and you're still talking, like you still mentioned me, your friends still mentioned me, I just add it to the lawsuit. Add everything. if I said I'm suing you for malicious intent, I'm just going to hide everything you've done that's malicious. I'm going to allow you to keep talking. I'll grab every single detail. By the time I go to court, dude, you're done. You've buried yourself. Even you can't defend yourself. Your lawyer won't be able to help you.
Snitch.
People don't actually understand that. Like, after we sue you, and then like when people sue people, they go silent. It's because he knows, like, okay, when I'm in court, I'm not really going to say anything because it can be used against me in court.
Yeah.
People are dumb. That's how you know you're not at the level to start fighting some people.
Yeah.
Timberland had this conversation. He told the guy, and Timberland's a pretty big dude. He works out. He's kind of strong. He lifts.
The producer?
Yeah, the producer.
Oh, yeah.
So he told the guy, face to face in a club, you can punch me, but I'll own you after that. So decide. He told him. The guy was like joking around, whatever, and he goes, no. See, what are you going to do? He's like, I'll sue you. I'll sue you for everything you have. You spend your life working for me. Like, and the dude, he was his top man. Like, it just clicked. Like, he didn't do it. Even in one of his songs, he's like, you don't have enough paper to deal with me. Like, people don't understand how dangerous it is. Yeah. Like, nowadays, like, you could, and for me, fighting now, it's of no use to me. I have a wife. I have responsibilities. Like, 4 years ago, all right, man, train shows. Like 4 or 5 years ago, if this is the trade you pay, I would have been a different person. I'm telling you the honest truth. Nowadays, no. Unless I have no other option to defend myself, then I will. But now, no. People don't understand what it means to get sued. People don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, it's fun and bro, it's fun and games too. You're sitting in court and they're reading you how much money you owe. Like, hey man, okay, so you've done this and this. These are the amount of damages that he's asking for. This, and this. And your lawyer's sitting there like, he can't defend you because there's a record of it.
Yeah.
He could argue, well, my client is not worth that. Yeah. And the problem is, that's not how people don't understand. That's not how it's determined. There's a guy whose job is to determine your worth. So if you don't have the physical cash, it's your assets that are taken.
Brutal. Like,
it's just because some people here just don't pursue it. I'm now giving out the cheat code of how the whole thing works.
Yeah.
On how being sued is done. I come from a family of lawyers. Like, if you're talking about somebody and they go silent, bro, bad news. Bad news. I remember I posted on Twitter, we're suing them. We gave them a lawsuit.
The journalists?
No, not the journalists. We this current agency, and they have a PR guy with them. So we basically just tagged him. Dude couldn't shut up. And I'm like, you have no idea how this works. Like, basically, he's doing a job that I went to school for. PR and advertising. It's what my degree is in. Bro, you should have just kept quiet you shouldn't have tweeted anything. From the very day he tweeted, us, our organization, our ministry, was a lie. And it's in the tweets. Like, you can't defend yourself. Yeah. You're going to court and you're going to lose, bro. There's nothing in there that's structured. Like, you've just ruined your life. And the craziness is this. Being sued is like getting sucker punched.
Yeah.
It like, the thing happens at the most inopportune time. I was talking to a guy who someone sued him years ago, and then they sued him now when he's finally made like $5 million. Like, he wakes up and he's being served papers. Like the papers to show up in court. Like, they gave him the announcement to sue, and now these are the papers to show up in court. And he was like, bro, like, I was just planning on buying another building, turning it into like an office space for rentals, like my life. And then like this happens. And I was like, wait, what? He goes, yeah. And he's like, so I was like, what did you do? He goes, first of all, I settled with them because I was going to have to pay a lot of money if I lost. and I was in the wrong. I know I was. I know what I said and I know what I did.
Yeah.
So I was like, so you just pay? He goes, yeah, because bro, like, you get sued and it's bad news.
Yeah.
Really. And he's like, I paid because I knew I was wrong. Like, I was in the wrong in this whole situation and I wanted it behind me. So I went ahead and I settled with them. And this is the thing, settling with someone, this is all dependent on if the guy agrees to settle.
Yeah. It's not a must.
It's not like no one has to settle with you. Like, the reason why CNN is, you saw how they were like on Trump.
Yeah.
And then they've like calmed down.
Yeah.
Bro, losing $400+ million.
It's an organization.
They talked about a kid called Nicholas Sandman and then Kyle Rittenhouse. They had to pay Nicholas Sandman like $500 million. Settlement.
Wow.
He's rich. The kid's like rich. He's a commentator now. He doesn't care about anything. Super rich. They made him out to be this like terrible like neo-Nazi, and he wasn't. So he sued them. Kyle Rittenhouse wins his court case, sues CNN. He sues CNN, wins. He's suing ABC, NABC, like all the news organizations in the States that we're talking about. He's suing them, and all of them have to settle. Because the thing is, he's won enough that it just won't matter. Like, you just have to settle. It's coming, you know it's coming, you only have to settle.
You have to reach out to him.
Like, people don't understand how dangerous. The president, this is that time he sued, was it Monitor or something?
Yeah,
And they had to pay?
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, getting sued is not fun. Like, when people always like telling me, like, when people always want to run their mouth on people, I'm like, yo, bro, shut up. Dude, shut up. Like, some people just are, let me put it this way, there's some people who are just mature and don't care. They just leave it.
Yeah.
Right? But there are a lot of people who's like, dude, this is my name. You've done this. You're going to pay. So this guy in this organization, like, he was talking about it. And I remember he was on Twitter and he tweeted something about like one of the anointing services. So I went underneath the comment and I'm like, you don't learn, do you? Yo, bro stopped immediately. Like, to this day, he knows himself. Like, to this day, I'm like, dude, it's coming. It will be like a tsunami. Because your organization is going to be like, it was all his idea.
Yeah, they'll leave you.
They'll throw you out.
Yeah.
There's 110% they're not going to keep you. There's no way. That's not even an imagination type thing. There's no way, because he was in the wrong. And then, what people don't know, he was like, okay, guys, I'm in the wrong. Let's just let it blow past us. Bro, it's too late. You were asked to apologize and recant, and you failed. If someone is like going to sue you and then they're like, apologize, bro, just say sorry, leave it. Getting sued is not getting sued is not. It's not cool. It's not, the legal fees in getting sued are not cool. And then if you lose the lawsuit, you have to cover the legal fees for the guy who sued. Like, bro, dude. Like,
Prepare your money.
not just even money. Like, it's your assets. There are people who have sued people. There's a guy in South Africa. He sued this guy. Guy didn't have money to pay, so he took his home. Like, he repossessed his property. Like, bro, like, I don't want to be sued. I don't. And people could be like, well, just Robert, if you don't want to, just accept. We do. You extend people mercy. You say, hey man, can you please go and just like tell people the truth. We won't press legal action. Just tell people the truth. We can move on. It's all cool. No, who do you think you are, bro? Dude, don't. When somebody, it's like I don't know if people have ever like seen a UFC fight or done jiu-jitsu.
I've seen the UFC.
The intention to sue is like the submission. Hey man, just tap out real quick.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, and you're like, forget you, bro. You're going to get knocked out. It's going to be on your record.
That you got knocked out.
Like, getting sued is not a good thing. It's not a thing. But one of the things that people should understand, it goes back to this. There are consequences for every action. And if there are consequences for every action, you need to be careful.
Yeah.
Right? You need to be careful. You need to be honest with yourself and other people. You need to learn how to tell truth.
Yeah.
And don't be egotistical and don't be big-headed. when it comes to, and this comes to conflict. Let me tell you this: 110%. People need to grasp this. I don't care what you tweet, what you say, who you support, and say. Hamas is finished.
Yeah.
It's over for them. There is nobody on Israel's leash who's going to hold them back. No one. No one sensible. India just came out saying we fully support Israel. There is nobody. These people were playing around, and now these guys were like, all right, okay, cool. The guy was even saying, we don't care who controls Gaza after this. Bro, you can't do this to people. You raped women. You burnt children. You can't expect them to be like, okay, we're just going to attack the leaders. No, they said all of Hamas is finished. Their goal is to wipe out Hamas.
Yeah.
Completely wipe it out. You made a mistake. You're not dealing with George W. Bush who's going looking for oil.
Yeah. You want revenge.
No, man. They're gonna get it. This is not a war that they're going to win. It's not a war they're going to win. The U.S. has hostages there. All of this is nonsense. All of the people on TikTok who are fighting for a movement don't really understand violence. This is a terrible. I just imagine being the head of a man, and then you realize, because you can be in Qatar in the Four Seasons, right? Until you're not. You wake up tomorrow in a detention facility with these people. Like you picked the worst people to do this to, because not just of its capability as a country, but also because of its friends. You kidnapped Israel's generals. I don't know, man. Like I personally, they played a very bad game. Max, I don't know how to put it. They played a bad game.
I feel they were counting on the fact that maybe they will play the sympathy card and get people to, to side with them, because right now it's what they're doing. Most of the people who are reacting that I've seen on social media, at least that are reacting, it's because they've seen other people reacting. Some people are saying no, so they're trying to make it out to be a Jew and Muslim fight. It's like a religious war, but then it's not a religious war. So there's a lot of people that are just jumping onto the wave, because with social media, when you're marketing something, there's always the people that start the wave, and then there's later on people that just join because it's now the popular in thing. Everyone now has an opinion about what Israel is doing. Someone has an opinion about what Palestine and Hamas is doing. Everyone has an angle. Whenever everybody is at a point where they have an opinion and they feel, they're the expert on war, on conflict, they feel like they are the right ones. They know who's right, they know who's wrong, they know who's doing what. I don't know. I feel like it's hard to believe what you see on social media just for face value. But all I can say to that is that we'll keep praying for Israel. But people have to understand there's consequences to actions and to things that are said and things that are not done. Because we only look at the consequences of what we do, and we ignore the consequence of what is not done, right? For example, if some of you find you're the only maybe Christian in your family, and you're the one that God has called to intercede on their behalf, but because you feel your family is so wicked, you don't want to intercede, you don't want to stand in the gap, so you ignore because you feel, these people are undeserving. You're trying to play God's part, and then at the end of the day, something happens to them, right? Or they die without knowing Christ, and that's accounted to you, right? Just like the souls that of the people that were in Nineveh, they were going to be accounted to Jonah, right? If he had just gone ahead and just escaped, let's imagine God had left Jonah flee and continue with his path, right? All the people that God was going to judge and an entire city of lives lost just like that. I believe those were going to be held on Jonah's account, right? And you do not want that to happen, because there's a part in the Bible where Jesus says that anyone that strays the little ones, it's better for him to tie a stone and and drown himself in the ocean. Right? That's how bad it is, that you don't want to be in that place. Right? So I think God saw how the consequence of Jonah's action, or lack of action, and was like, no, you've served me, so for this time let me extend mercy. I think that was God showing him mercy when he let the fish swallow him and take him to the place that God had called him to go minister in. It was a form of mercy, because the wrath of God that was prepared, that would have been prepared for the people of Nineveh, I believe Jonah had a portion of that if he had not fulfilled his commission. So it's important for us not to just take things for granted and ignore our part. By the time God has called you and chosen you, because the Bible says many are called, but few are chosen. By the time you're chosen of God to go fulfill a certain assignment, that means He has trusted you. Last time we were talking about God betting on you. He bet on Job and he was like, that's my servant Job. I'm betting on him that he will not turn away from me. He will not disappoint. Sometimes God is betting on us to fulfill that commission, that purpose, that plan, and execute. And then you, the person that He's counting on, you're trying your best to flee. God is sending you in the midst of the battle to fight. And that's when you're packing. You're looking for your passports. You're looking for visas to escape. You're looking for asylum in a different country. We'll have news for you. God's plans will still go through. And if He wants you to do it, He'll still make you do it. Whether you want to or not, He will make you do it. You know, the Bible says, I think in the book of 2 Corinthians, it says that all good things is where it was like a prayer where Paul was saying, may all good things abound towards you. May all grace abound towards you, that you may continuously do the good work of God. I believe in the same way, all things can abound towards you doing what God has called you to do. Even when you don't feel like it, even when you want to escape, even when you want to run away, He makes everything align. Align so that you do what He has called you to do. So, yeah, with that, I'm just going to tell you guys to subscribe so that you don't miss out. Hit that bell notification to always receive notifications of the videos that we drop. And otherwise, see you next time. God bless.